Yeah, Peter, I haven't seen you since Japan.
Nice to see you again.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
You can say it's nice to see me.
It's nice to see you too, Peter.
It's been more than a month since the re-election announcement. Is President Biden going to hold a campaign event ever?
So I will say this to you, Peter. As you know, we follow the rule of law here. We believe in following the rule of law as it relates. Hold on. As it relates.
I'm asking you to weigh in on the impact of the election, just his schedule. You'll have to schedule around rallies.
I'm about to answer your question here. As it relates to anything that is connected to the 2024 re-election, that is not going to certainly come from here. That is going to come from his campaign or the DNC or the DNC.
So you can't say if he will be campaigning for re-election.
I'm just not going to comment from here.
And then
on 2024 re-election.
Another story.
The Hatch Act does exist.
Can you explain to student loan borrowers who might be confused about what's been agreed to here, how the Supreme Court decision may implicate that, and explain the President's continued commitment to forgiveness now?
Yeah, the Supreme Court will opine on the President's action to forgive $10,000 in student debt and $20,000 for those with Pell Grants. But in this bill, even though House Republicans' bill sought to do away with that, we saved it in this bill. So there's nothing on that in this bill. We also protected the income-driven repayment rule, which, if anyone has had student loans, knows it did not work as intended. The one thing is this bill does end the payment pause, but very close to the time frame we were going to end it as an administration when it comes to repayment.
A group of experts now say that AI poses an extinction risk, right up there with nuclear war and a pandemic. Does President Biden agree?
What I can say, you're speaking to the letter that was provided today, made public. And so, look, the President and the Vice President has been very clear on this as it relates to AI. It is one of the most powerful technologies, right, that we see currently in our time. There's a letter that went out today from Elon Musk and CEOs. I will let the public read that letter, but again, we have been very clear on that, how companies need to be responsible as it relates to AI. The President said from the beginning that he would negotiate with Republicans on a budget, just like it has been done every year. He directed his team to work in good faith toward a reasonable bipartisan agreement. The President successfully protected core Democratic priorities and the historic economic progress that we have made over the last 2 years.
Shalana, for doing this. The chair of the Progressive Caucus says that it's really unfortunate that you are expanding the work requirements for this particular age group. She says it's a terrible policy. I know that you've been working the phones, speaking to a number of members of, I assume, the Progressive Caucus, trying to convince them that this is good policy. Is she right about that this is bad policy?
You heard me answer on SNAP. There's a very real possibility when we see the numbers that the number who are phased in, who have new requirements on SNAP, is offset by the number who will now be covered under the new exemptions. Thank you. It was starting to get hot.
It gets hot up on
the lights. All right, thanks so much. Thank you.
I didn't think she wanted to leave for a second.
Yeah. You talk about this as a compromise. I'm wondering if you could talk about what you lost on.
Allow Republicans to have some curbing of spending, which is flat line for non-defense discretionary, and we move on and get an appropriations process that works. And I think that's a good middle ground.